You know, years back when I came to the Lord in 2017. Ever since then, you know, waking up when it's still pitch black out, I used to wake up at 3 or 3:30, but now I pushed it back to 4 or 4:30, and waking up at this time, there's no distractions. It's like I'm the only one that's awake in the whole world. Kaya, where are you? So these are broccoli sprouts. I actually do my own sprouts here in the kitchen. They contain anywhere between 10 and 100 times more sulforaphane than a head of broccoli, which sulforaphane is basically the king of liver detoxifiers, removing things from cancer, free radicals, all these different things. So I make my own sprouts here in the kitchen, and it only takes about 5 days. First, what we'll do is 2 tablespoons. And today, you know, it's Sunday morning. By Friday, this jar should be about 80%, 75, 80% filled up with sprouts. They need to be dry, and they need to be in dark places. But for the first 8 hours, the sprouts just need to soak. So till this afternoon, I'll let them just soak in this water. I'll drain it, and then every morning and every afternoon, I fill it up with water and drain it immediately. So all you're doing is just watering them real quick. You're not leaving them in water because they need to be in dry, dark places. And so I just find a dark cabinet in the corner. They'll end up turning into these types of things. But like I said, I'll get basically almost that whole jar from 2 tablespoons. And I'll eat it, I'll just throw it on top of meals a couple times a day. So really easy to incorporate. And they don't really have much flavor, but the benefits of them is simply remarkable. And so if you're able to do something that easy, I almost consider it foolish not to take advantage of it. I'm going in my office, I'm getting into my prayer time, my study time, my reading every morning, at least for right now, and it will be for probably months and months, with this book. It's called Smith Wigglesworth, because it's a compilation of this man, Smith Wigglesworth's teachings. He was a great pastor, evangelist, filled with the Holy Spirit. And so I just start out reading, you know, a couple pages of this, and it just kind of gets the engine flowing for me to sit back and really start getting into prayer, praying in the Holy Spirit. And I think about what the Lord did in my life. You know, whenever I came to the Lord, it was like I was completely resurrected. I mean, I was, you know, a drug addict, a very violent, vicious man. I was jumped into a gang whenever I was in 8th grade. You know, broken into homes, broken into cars. I was facing, you know, 2 to 20 years to be, you know, locked up whenever I was 17 years old for a drug charge on school property. Now people don't even recognize that person either today, whether they knew me back then or if they didn't know me back then, they couldn't even imagine or fathom that that was the person that I was, and it's just amazing. So yeah, now about 6:30, sometimes 7, depending, I'll go ahead and start making breakfast. You know, my diet is very, very important. I have a very sensitive gut. It really affects my cognitive function, mentally, my energy, so on and so forth, to where if I eat foods that are not as healthful for me, I won't wake up at 4 or 4:30. I'll sleep until 6 or 7. Or, you know, mentally I might even have like somewhat of a just downcast, not necessarily depression, but just a little bit more downcast. And my breakfast is really pretty much the same every day. I might change a couple of the variables here or there, but for the most part, it's the same. And so what I do is, many people are very familiar with, you know, the acai bowls, okay? I don't use acai berry. This is a berry medley, so it's going to have blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries. But I do a similar thing where I just get a measuring cup, and I'm not too strict on it. I just kind of use it as a simple indicator. And I'll do frozen berries, and I'll actually make my own form of like an acai berry bowl, but obviously, like I said, not being with acai. And then I'm also very big into superfoods. So this morning I'll do black maca. Black maca is really incredible. It's an adaptogen. Adaptogens help you to adapt to your environment, stressors, if you're having less sleep. It's also very, very big for fitness. It helps with fat burning, it helps with muscle building, helps with endurance, stamina, so on and so forth. I'll do that. I'll also do spirulina, which is a blue-green algae. It's one of the most powerful foods on the entire planet, as well as chlorella. Chlorella is great for your gut. It's great for your system. It binds to heavy metals, and it's a detoxifier. So I'll just put a little bit of each one in here as well. And none of them change anything with the flavor. It might change the color to where it turns a little more dark green, but flavor-wise, it's not going to mess with the flavor. And then I'll do a scoop of protein powder. I use the vegan V-Pro. There's a couple different vegan protein powders that I really like, but this is the go-to one that I've used now for a couple years. Disregard the jar because it's not what's in it, but I mix ground chia seed, ground flax seed, and ground hemp seed. These three seeds are absolute superfoods. They're classified superfoods. They're some of the top foods on the planet for their specific fields. I just mix that up. I always keep this mixed and ready to go. And I don't do any specific measurement, but I just get a good tablespoon. And some days I might put raw cacao powder. Today I'm not going to do that. But then I do unsweetened vanilla almond milk. And I'll just do generally about a third cup. And the reason you don't want to do much is because you still want to make sure that it gets that thick consistency that you would get with like a frozen acai bowl. All you really need is a good food processor. If you have a good food processor, I mean, you can do pretty much anything with those things. So that's what I use, a food processor. And we're good there. And so notice how it's like this thick ice cream like texture, just like you would get with an acai, but you get to just choose your flavor. You can choose what berries you want. You can choose if you want to do frozen bananas instead. And then I'll start to add my toppings. You know, everybody loves, for the most part, a good granola. So what I actually use for my form of granola is Ezekiel cereal. I have a couple different ones. Today I'll do the cinnamon raisin. But it's whole food, plant-based, all sprouted, organic. You know, it's organic sprouted wheat, organic raisins, organic sprouted barley, millet, lentils, soybeans, malted barley, spelt, cinnamon, just whole plant foods, no added sugars, no refined things, no oils, canola oils, vegetable oils. I stay away from all of those oils. And so I'll basically just do like a heaping third cup and top it, and it really brings the same granola texture. It's delicious. And then I'll just choose my toppings, you know. So today I'll probably do a banana, and I'll just do a kiwi. And this is why I say, you know, my routine is the same pretty much every day, but the variables can change. I can change, you know, what kind of foods I want on it or whatever. And some days I might do oatmeal. Some days I might do, you know, something else. But for the most part, I really just enjoy this. This satisfies everything. I look forward to it every day. I've actually formulated a superfood trail mix where I take some of the top superfoods on the planet over the last year and a half, just different foods that I've studied. And so in here I have goji berries, saka inky nuts, cacao nibs, Brazil nuts, mulberries, and golden berries. And saka inky nuts for their iron, allowing your body to be elastic. Their macronutrient, I mean, for saka inky nuts, you get, you know, 9 grams of protein just in one serving. You know, raw cacao nibs, they have the highest level of antioxidants, flavonoids, than any other food by weight on the planet. So they're a superfood in that aspect. Goji berries, mulberries, gooseberries, or golden berries. So it's the top foods on the planet. and I'll use this as a trail mix on my food like this. And then if I want something like date syrup, I might top some date syrup on it, but today I probably won't do the date syrup. What I'll actually do is these energy balls. All it is for these energy balls, it's dates, cinnamon, raw cacao powder, and oatmeal. That's it. And so I'll do, you know, 2 or 3 of them. I'm not really big on counting calories. You know, there was a study done. I do eat a whole food plant-based diet. I'm not against anything with animal products by any means. For me, it just works the best. It's really helped me with my relationship with food. You know, I was a competitive bodybuilder, during which time there was a very unhealthy relationship with food that was built over the course of about 10 years. People ask, how much protein do you get? Where do you get your protein? I mean, just in this meal alone, you have the protein powder, which is about 25 grams. The hemp seeds, which are in here, have 10 grams of protein per serving. Flax seeds, chia seeds. So I'm probably getting 5 or 10 grams of protein here. That's about 35 grams of protein. From the berries, you can get 4 or 5 grams of protein. That's, you know, 35 to 40 grams of protein right there. From this trail mix with everything that's in it, I mean, you can get anywhere between 5 to 10 grams of protein. So, I mean, just in this meal alone with things, I could easily have 40 to 50 grams of protein right in here. Yeah, it's, you know, like 16 degrees this morning outside, so we stay warm. Knows the routine for our walk. Well, I'll change it up in the afternoon. In the afternoon, I'll actually walk through the hills with her. But during the morning, we pretty much keep it to the same trail. And she kind of leads the way a little bit. Like I said, I grew up with neighbor, you know, straight city, kind of like Cedar Rapids. And so people have asked me since I come out here, man, how do you like it? And I'm like, honestly, I love it. I'm like, dude, it's quiet. You know, I really like that. Everything I do is online. You know, all my ministry, everything is online, which enables me to travel. I can do my broadcasts from anywhere, my teachings from anywhere. Trainers, I have to be quiet because she knows the word treat very well. But with trainers goodies. Here, Kai, come here. Sit. Stay. Hey, stay. Come. So now, you know, it's a little after 8. Just took Kai on her walk. I'll head to the gym. Today's just gonna be chest and triceps, a little bit of conditioning. You know, for the most part now, my training is very athletic based. You know, I do weights 4 or 5 times a week. I really, in a perfect world, I really prefer to work out around this time in the morning. I'll get some study things done and prayer things in the morning, walk Kaya, go work out, get back into the office, get some other study things and get some other work stuff that I got to get done for ministry and in the office for the rest of the day. Generally what I do for every exercise, the very last set is what I call a drop set, where I'll go a little bit heavier. Maybe I'll go for like 8 to 10 reps. And then right when I'm done,
I drop to another weight, like a third of that weight. Say I do the 70s on this next set, I'll drop to like the 45s or the 50s on the next set to come right back so I can get more reps. So it's all within the same set, but it enables me to get more reps while utilizing heavier weights. So I was doing 8 to 10 to 12 reps per set on these first 3, supersetted with push-ups. This fourth set I won't do any push-ups. I'll just do, say, the 70s for 8 to 10 reps, drop from the 70s to the 45s, and immediately keep going. There's no break. And I kind of do that at the end of each exercise to allow myself to get more blood into the muscle, more nutrients into the muscle. You can recover better, you can get more blood, more of a pump. So I just finished chest and triceps. Now what I'll do is I'll just run a mile. I usually do like a mile and a half or 2 miles as a warm-up before I get into my conditioning. Today I'll just do a mile. I'm gonna try to do like a 9.0 speed, so it'll be like a 6 minute, 40-second mile. That way I really just get my body warmed up, and then I'll jump into some treadmill sprints. I like to do my sprints outside. Right now it's a little cold. The roads are a little slippery with snow stuff, so I'm not going to do it today. But I'll do the sprints in here where I'll do like a 13.0 speed with like a 6.0 incline, to where it's a heavy incline sprint for like 30 to 40 seconds on, and then I'll rest for like 3 minutes because it will completely gas me. And then we'll finish probably with some jump rope. I'll walk for about 3 to 5 minutes. Now that I'm warmed up, did a 9.0 speed for a mile, and then I'll go into my 30 to 40 second sprints, and I'll try to do a 13.0 speed with a 6.0 incline.
Beautiful day. It's 19 degrees right now, but it really doesn't feel like 19 degrees because there's not a crazy wind. It's clear skies, it's sunny. So we went outside, finished with jump rope and stuff like that. And while I was actually just training, I just got a text that a message that myself and Pastor Todd did is actually on 2 radio stations right now at 9 o'clock. So that was just another blessing.
Oh, Kaya. Good girl. A typical lunch for me, or it's an early lunch because, you know, it's 10:30. One staple that I do is burritos, kind of like a Chipotle line in a way. Today I'm not going to be doing any rice though, but I use the Ezekiel 4.9 sprouted tortillas or burrito wraps. This is what I use pretty much on a daily basis almost. So we'll do onions. And this is just a really easy meal to put together. Throughout the week, this will already be ready. And you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do. Today, I'm not going to do the peppers or the mushrooms, but I do enjoy doing those. Today, I'll do onions. I'll do black beans. I'll do corn. I'll do carrots. I'll do a little bit of tofu. And then I'll do my broccoli sprouts. So, you know, this is kind of what I'll end up doing with the black beans and the sprouts. So you've kind of got yourself, like I said, a little bit of a burrito line. I do salsa with a lot. So here, take 2 of them. And I'll end up doing, you know, a whole cup of beans. What's amazing about beans and anything high fiber, which I'll explain fiber because it's not what many people think it is. Every half cup of beans, you know, has 8 grams of protein. So I have 16 grams of protein just in this. And there's 6 grams of fiber in each half cup. So in this I have 12 grams. Every 7 grams of fiber, you lower your chances of coronary heart disease or cardiovascular disease, which, by the way, is the #1 killer in the United States. 400,000 deaths a year. Every 83 seconds, somebody's dying of heart disease. You lower your chances of that by 9% every 7 grams of fiber. So just by having a cup of beans, 14% chance less of doing that. Again, it is a high protein meal. And like I said, you can just mix and match the vegetables. If you don't want to do carrots, you want to do peppers and mushrooms and all that, then do peppers and mushrooms. If you don't want to do tofu, don't do tofu. If you want to mix it up to where you're not doing black beans, you're doing pinto beans, then do that. And so you have a high fiber, high protein meal. The cool thing about fiber, like I said, fiber is not what everybody thinks it is. You know, people think it's like, oh, it's fiber. You know, you go to the restroom, but not all fiber is accounted equal. You know, every plant has its own fiber. And with your gut microbiome, you have what's called gut microbes. And each gut microbe is fed by a specific type of fiber. And so you take your broccoli, and it's going to feed certain gut microbes. You take another vegetable, it's going to feed other gut microbes. You take beans, it's going to feed other gut microbes. So you have all these gut microbes being fed by all these different types of fiber, which is like a prebiotic. And it feeds the probiotic in your gut. You have prebiotic, you have probiotic, and you have postbiotic, which are short-chain fatty acids. So now, I'm just going to top it with some broccoli sprouts. And look at how full these burritos are, you know, so you're not starving yourself by any means. You're not protein deficient by any means. And it's full of flavor. It's full of diversity.